Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mega Man 2. No, I'm joking. Today, just I come before you humbled and ashamed. I was actually looking at some of my own posts before we played Metroid Other M, and it's not like I was exactly, I've got my hat in my hand. It's not like I was positive about the game, but I was like, it'll be interesting to see how well it scores. And how much worse Metroid 1 will actually score than it. And just little details like that. And, well, I'd give another thought on that, but I'm afraid of actually being completely wrong at this point. Because I apparently just do not have the ability to gauge how good, bad, or in between a game is before I've actually played it. This does not bode well for Final Fantasy VI. So, here's Metroid 1, a game that, by memory, I hated. In fact, as I've mentioned before, I haven't played this game in years. In fact, it's been decades. Because I hated this game. Like, God, this is such a terrible game. But before I jump into that a little bit, let's talk about the game itself. I actually don't have that much behind-the-scenes stuff for Metroid 1. We have plenty of information on the makings of. It's just there's nothing really interesting to share there. It's all stuff you already know. I do want to mention something, though. The music in Earthbound was by Hirokazu Tanaka, a name you probably don't know by memory, and that's fine. But you may have heard, because he did the Mario Land series, Dr. Mario, and Earthbound 1, Mother 1 and 2, also known as Earthbound 0 and Earthbound. Interesting pedigree there. Hirokazu, Mr. Tanaka, was actually specifically tasked with trying to come up with music that would be more atmospheric. Because, I forget the exact quote, I should have written it down. But he mentioned he didn't want the pop, the hip-hop style of music that was usually done in video games at the time. And he wanted it to be something more that dragged you into it. And I mention this because everyone involved in the creation of Metroid 1 all agrees on the same point. They all wanted this to have more of a story focus. Now, if you don't understand the significance of that, that means Metroid actually predates Zelda as far as having story focus when it comes to the perspective of the developers. Now, how much of a story is here? Well, that's a little bit of a different topic, but the fact of the matter is the developers wanted there to be a story here. They wanted there to be atmosphere, visuals. They wanted it to be a place you would immerse yourself in. On the NES, but, whatever. They wanted it to be more than just a game. Now, this is both good and bad, as I will talk about not too long from now. Sakamoto, that one, has insisted many times how much he wanted more and more story in the Metroids. We've actually already talked about that if you watch my preamble leading into Other M. And for more history on the Metroid series as a whole, go watch my preamble leading into Other M. It's the very beginning of part 1 of the VODs. I put it right up front for a reason. But this is relevant because, obviously, Metroid and Zelda actually shared a lot of cross-pollination when it came to development for many years. Metroid, a lot of the Metroid developers would go work on several Zelda games, and several Zelda developers would go work on Metroid games, and that kind of just, working across the office thing was very, very common in general back then, but also specifically with regards to those two franchises, because a lot of the people involved in both wanted to push the narrative element. Whereas most of the Mario team were actually pushing away from narrative to the point where, well, you know the old meme, right? This was developed alongside Kid Icarus, by the same team at the same time. The main goal here, other than, from a technical perspective, the main goal from a technical perspective was to really push what the NES could do, to try and see how much verticality we could get out of it. As I've actually already talked about before, getting the NES to scroll vertically and horizontally and in any direction was a technical hurdle that had to be overcome. It was obviously overcome, and then Mario 3 would produce the absolutely insane accomplishment of going at a diagonal, which I have to re-stress was insane. I'm not even going to sit here and talk to you about how insane it was in specific because it would take a minute. But trust me when I say they had to do a whole thing just to make the game scroll diagonally. So, verticality, people are like, oh my god, you can go up, you can go down. We'll talk more about a little bit of that in just a second. We also have to talk about something else, because obviously Kid Icarus was very vertical as well. In fact, if you look at Kid Icarus's level, it's straight up, and then like a side thing, and then straight up, and then a side thing, and that's Kid Icarus's overall map. Kid Icarus is also a really short game. Metroid 1 wanted to push that even further, though. They wanted non-linearity. And so they were really pushing the boundaries of what was possible, which makes this the buggiest Metroid game by a huge margin. This game is so buggy that I actually pulled up a list of well-known bugs and then tried to find a list of every bug, and then I gave up on that because there are a lot. The game doesn't accept inputs correctly in some cases. The game resets your jump height based on the last time which you rolled. You literally cannot adjust your aim after you've committed to aiming in a certain direction, after you've jumped. All kinds of crap. And everyone's familiar with the big ones, where you can move up through a wall or where you can clip through stuff. That's all normal stuff. I'm talking like there's so many bugs. So yeah, this is the Pokemon Gen 1. That is absolutely what this is. Two more things. Well, three. First, I'm going to start off not using a map or a walkthrough. Now, I'm not super familiar with this game. So, again, I haven't played it in literal decades. So I'm not like, it's not like Super Metroid, which I could play, half asleep and while discussing politics on Polemic Day. We're going to probably quit that at some point and just pull up a freaking map and try to figure out how to get to where we're going. But the goal here is to essentially go as far as I can prior to, throwing in the towel and being like, okay, fine, let's go ahead and figure out what's going on. And yeah, make your own map. Yeah, I thought about that, but I don't have any paper. I do have this brand new pen. It was actually a gift from my father-in-law. Check it out. It's a magnet thing. It's really cool. Hand lathed for that. But I have no paper and couldn't get any paper in time, so screw that noise. I mean, drawing? Ugh, God, it's icky. Second thing I want to mention. Do you know Samus is female? Now, this is one of those weird situations. Because everyone in chat, I guarantee you, like all of you in chat, your reaction is going to be, and? But you have to understand historical context here. This was considered such a big deal. This is right up there with Uhura kissing Kirk back in TOS. And I remind you, that scene shouldn't have had any significance whatsoever. But it did because of the times, because of history. And so, Samus being female was actually kind of a shocker to a lot of people. And because Metroid did quite well for itself in both major markets at the time, Japanese and the United States, it was considered more acceptable to have female leads, which started a trend, for lack of a better way to put it, which would lead to more and more female characters actually being available and playable when it came to this, other than just being a trophy to win at the end, or a princess to save, or something similar. So that's actually, even though it's such a nonsense, nothing, who cares thing, this was actually significant purely because of how things were perceived at the time. Lara Croft and, oh God, I don't remember the other one. I can't remember the other one. Lara Croft and another major female character, their creators have both, let's see if I can find the quote about that, have both went out of their way and said multiple times that they were specifically inspired by Metroid because of the fact that it was okay now to have a female protagonist. Which is just kind of crazy to think about. It might have been the Resident Evil. It might have been Jill Valentine. That doesn't strike a bell, but whatever. Next thing I want to talk about is a small little tidbit. Hang on one second. One moment. Ah. Doesn't matter. Gonna move on. I know the big one was Lara Croft, because Lara Croft has gone on to be a fairly major thing. Next thing I want to talk about is, why is Samus in a bikini? She's actually in a leotard kind of a thing, but why is she a bikini? Well, the answer is actually really banal. See, this is a NES game, and they were trying to figure out how to showcase the fact that she was female, because the overwhelming perception in the office was that people would see her, and if she was wearing normal clothing, then they would just see a long-haired guy, is the overwhelming quote. So they were like, we need to showcase that she's a woman. So they made it so that it was really obvious that she was a woman by putting her in a bikini. Now, they would eventually walk that back and give her the Zero suit when graphics move forward, but you get the general idea. This game would directly influence quite a few things going forwards. I already mentioned the Zelda thing, but the biggest franchise that has many times repeatedly said that it was inspired directly by this game always amuses me. It's Castlevania. I find that fascinating because Castlevania and this game have like nothing to do with each other. But Metroidvanias. Last tidbit, then I swear I'll get on with this. This I find interesting because this game, the Metroid series is nowhere near as big as the Zelda series. However, this game and Zelda are so intertwined early on that even their release history is kind of fascinating, because the way the games came out was Zelda 1 came out first on February 21st, 1986. And then Metroid came out August 6th, same year, 1986. And then Metroid came out August 15th, 1987 in the West. And then Zelda came out August 22nd in the West, 1987. And some of you probably remember that year. I actually do. I remember this because it was an event. And the local mall had a game station. I've actually talked about this before. And they had a whole thing for the big August release thing. I forget what they call it. It was like Nintendo August or some stupid thing like that. Because there were several big games, including Zelda 1 and Metroid, which were coming out in August of 87 here in the States. And it was a huge deal. And this is why I was at there. I've actually already told this story, but to repeat myself briefly, they had several, like a grid of TVs hooked up to some NESs that you could just walk up and play. And I just walked up, and there was Metroid. And I was like, oh, this looks so cool. And I started playing it. And of course, as I've already told this story, someone had already inputted the code to allow you to play as Zero Suit Samus, the woman. So I just sat there playing the game as Samus, who was female, and naturally it's me, so it didn't even register to me that there was anything significant about the fact that I was playing a woman. It would not be until literal years later that I would find out about the Justin Bailey code and understand the significance of the big reveal at the end. For those of you not aware, the manual in English explicitly refers to Samus the man as he, and he has to go do the things that he has to defeat and blah, 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 blah. Now, there's a commonly misreported element, which I did a little digging into really quickly, that was an invention for the West, that Japan was totally cool with it. It's also worth noting that Japanese pronouns tend to be genderless by default. So it would have been much easier in Japan to just use genderless pronouns, but instead they specifically call Samus a guy in the Japanese manual to add to the whole reveal. And to be clear, that is a deliberate obfuscation. It was not something that was changed after the manual was printed. Shrug. Look, we can only get so much as far as big plot reveals back in the day. What do you want from me? But I think that's enough delaying. Now I'm going to have to play this game. I have to play Metroid 1. Can we go back and play more Other M? Like, maybe, is that a thing we could do? No. Okay. You're gonna have to help me with the audio, because NES audio output is different. I can't even hear this. I'm sorry, I have to turn this up at least a little bit. I literally cannot hear that. I know it's a quiet song, but damn. Oh shoot, I missed it. I was adjusting the volume. Hi, Luca. I like how it says 1986, but it didn't actually come out until 1987. Here. I think you're just crazy, Linear Earth. Stop being crazy. Defeat the Metroid of the planet Zebeth and destroy the Mother Brain, the mechanical life vein. Galaxy Federal Police M510. And yes, the Galactic Federation goes all the way back to the original. Very kind of. It's mentioned in the manual. So, let's get some praise out of the way before we do anything else. Oh yeah, actually, I should mention one other thing. The Japanese version of this game had actual honest-to-God save slots, although Zelda predated that in terms of that invention, but by only a few months. The NES version does not. It has passwords. Now, I don't think we'll need those, but it's interesting because the password system was kind of invented for this game, and unlike what a lot of later games have done, yeah, these are Zoomers, and don't worry, we're going to kill them. I can barely hear it, Blade Taval. I cannot believe this is okay volume for you guys. That is negative 35 decibels. That's crazy. So, I know it's an NES game. Music's piercing. I'm not gonna bleed anybody's ears. The password system, though, most password systems have, like, there's a set password, and that works, right? Like, that specifically does X, Y, or Z. So, if you want to load these 3 bosses done and this much health, that is password AABA or whatever, right? Make sense? The reason I bring that up is because that's not how this password system works. This password system is kind of crazy in how complex it is. It allows you to put in code, which the game then immediately interprets, based just on the programming of the game. So you could punch in random stuff, and there's actually a decent chance you will actually get something out of it. People have reverse engineered this game over the years and found tremendous amount of different things you can come up with. Silly and funny and crazy and ridiculous, because you can just effectively program the game with the password feature. There was a Pokemon thing. There's the Justin Bailey thing. There's the MF one, which I'm not going to say out loud, which don't use that one. It will literally brick your 3DS if you use it, and it will crash your emulator if you use it. Whole lot of stuff. Anyways, so password system. We'll come back to that in a minute. Here's the important thing. What do you notice about this screen? They did 2 things very, very particularly with this screen in order to try and get across the idea of how the game works. Because a lot of people were still kind of getting used to the Mario thing, right? Remember what happens at the very beginning. In fact, I'm just going to do this really quick. Let's just explain this, because not that many years before, another game had come out and you know, revolutionized gaming forever. Anybody says otherwise is lying to you. If you remember, this game on 1-1 and only in 1-1, you start on the left facing right because of hardware limitations and all that, but they really wanted you to understand that going right is the thing. That's how you progress. Because, good night, Linear Earth. Because remember, what arcade games and even NES games were back in the day, no, Noctis, I could, but no, was that you'd usually just have one screen, or there would be no screen transitions. So like you'd have one screen and then you beat the screen and then it would load the next screen and then it would load the next screen. The idea of a scrolling is why the term side scroller actually came into existence, and it would eventually be replaced with the term platformer. So yeah, exactly, Giuliano. So they did this whole thing back in Mario 1 to explain this, and then I had to say thank you to SciCloud. Thank you, SciCloud. I always appreciate you, and I will put that towards a few things that Yura has picked. Her picks are gonna happen at some point when I could finish typing. I type so slowly. Ringo Ishikawa, the NES block, the BRPG block. So all this work was done on this, and a huge amount of games copied this. Of course they did. But then, when it came to Metroid, they're like, okay, we need to convey this. You'll notice Kid Icarus kind of does the same thing. In fact, I can show this off really quick, because I just got it right here. That's a piercing song. So Kid Icarus starts here. Based just, you can see what I mean, right? Based just looking at the screen, you could tell immediately how the progression is going to work. You have to go up. There is no other way to go. By the way, notice the shot distance. I only point that out because the more you look at this, the more you could tell how this and Metroid 1 are the same freaking engine. Made at the same time, by the same people. It even controls the same. Wow. You get the idea, right? Cool. But you're not here for this. You're here for this. So it starts us here, right in the middle of the screen. And then, if you don't move, the enemies don't actually kill you. But more to the point, Samus is facing forwards. This was a deliberate choice on behalf of the developers, and I mean this, I actually found the interview talking about this, because they wanted to convey the fact that you could go right or left. Or anyways, you could go in any direction. Because remember, one of the key critical components of any Metroid game is the baby. Is exploration. And so they really, really wanted to emphasize that right at the beginning. And it is a surprisingly well-crafted screen. There's a lot of just general psychology to this screen, as simple as it is. Yeah, they're not influencing your direction. You can go left or right. The enemies will not damage you here. Nothing is slanting itself in any particular direction. It's just pick away. So we're going to go right, of course, because what else would you do? I mean, there's no other options. Probably not, Yura. And we're having all kinds of, there's... God, the distance. So we can't actually shoot zoomers like that. Oh, man, that slowdown. That slowdown is not in the Famicom version, by the way. And we can't progress. We have run into a wall. Thus, we now have another staple when it comes to Metroid design. Designing a situation in which you cannot progress in a way you're not supposed to, unless, of course, you sequence break, because, let's be clear, this series also started sequence breaking. So we're going to give a low health beat elite negative, of course. Oh no, we're dying. Oh no, we're dead. There's our password. So here's the deal. The penalty for failure in this game is weird. Because you always go back to the last checkpoint with 30 energy. But otherwise, you lose no progress. Red doors will stay open. Once you have knocked down a red door, it's just open for the rest of that playthrough. Obviously, blue doors are different. Enemy spawns, that's not part of the save file. But otherwise, it's its own thing. So, cool. But there's a huge flaw with that. And that flaw is you always respawn with 30 health. And trust me when I say that's a problem. Now, before I go any further, thank you, Willie-son, for the sub. Very, very much. I apologize for the delay there. If you'd like to put it towards up to 3 things, please let me know. And hang on, now I gotta write some stuff down. Can you soft lock yourself? No. It's almost impossible to soft lock yourself. You have to work at it. However, do you have to reach a point where you have to grind health to go to later areas, to grind health to go to later areas, to grind health to get back to where you were? Yes. Just don't worry, DeQuack. They're gonna get us. They're gonna get us. So we cannot, quite literally, cannot go right. So we'll go here. So as you are probably aware, we cannot leave this area. We cannot leave this room. The only way to move out of this room is to get this item. I only mention this because, again, this is classic Metroid design, and it is something I approve of. This is a form of guidance, and even here, all the way back in the original, there's at least a little bit. So let's go ahead and pick up the iconic Morph Ball. Now, you're probably wondering, why does she morph into a ball? Well, everyone probably knows this story already, but the original intention was for Samus to have a crawling animation. However, have you ever made sprites on the NES? Making a crawling animation in effectively a 1x1 square like that just wasn't happening, and they tried to do a 1x2 square like this. That didn't work either. So the ball animation was a compromise, because they didn't want to abandon all the level design that they'd already done. So did you notice how I couldn't shoot like that? That's its own problem. I already mentioned that. Also, did I mention that the blaster has only a finite distance it can shoot? It's okay, there's an upgrade that increases the range of that. Oh yes, and as you may or may not have just noticed, there is actually, enemies are loaded, whoops, prior to the screen being, prior to entering the screen. I mention that because there are several areas which are probably an oversight, in which you can very likely get hit, thanks to some RNG, before you have a chance to do anything, because you're still stuck in a cutscene, walking into the room, and the enemies are fully loaded. There is, in fact, one infamous spot in the game where it is actually impossible to avoid such damage. You cannot avoid getting hit in this one room. It's just a damage tax. Again, that's probably a screw-up. So, we could go to Kraid's lair right now, except we totally can't. So, we'll go ahead and just try to do things. So, this is a good time to talk about samey corridors. Do you like samey? I like samey corridors. Samey corridors are great. Venters like samey corridors. So most of the Metroid games in which you reset your powers have their own individual reason for it, to answer you, Venters. Having said that, most of the specifics vary a little bit. Oh yeah, we should probably go ahead and give a negative to hurt boxes and hit boxes, both of which are, calling them badly designed would be being nice. Also, you notice the drop rate isn't quite there yet. That's because the drop rate engine was based off of something they developed for Zelda 1. You also notice this entire floor is just a giant vertical corridor of the same basic challenge over and over and over. Zoomers and whatever the purple zoomers are. And just that again, and again, and again, and again, and again. It is, as I mentioned earlier in Other M, literal copy-pasted design in order to save space on the freaking console. Since I need that health. Oh, there we go. Did I mention that your jump height is literally random? They're actually called zoomers. I'm not making that up. Listen. All I'm saying is that I don't understand anything, Mr. Red. Now, if we go further up... is this it? I do actually know my way around a very small amount. A really small amount. Yeah, I believe this is the way to Turian. I only point this out because we can access the final area now. If this is the one I'm thinking of. It might not be the way to Turian. I might be completely wrong. It is... Oh, so red door. Okay, so we're locked. Yep. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, we're okay. God damn it. So that's a red door, which we can't do anything about, because we don't have any missiles. No, there's no crouch. There's also no aiming to speak of, like you can shoot up and you can shoot sideways. The entire purpose of those bomber enemies that I can't remember the name of right now is to try and teach you the fact that you can aim up. And yeah, the fact that you can't aim at anything that's at ground level in a game where a huge number of enemies are at ground level. In fact, technically every enemy we've encountered so far, it either is or can be at ground level. Okay, so that was the red door. What's this one? Yeah, it took too long. Ah! Yeah, and we're dead. So, I mentioned the checkpointing thing. There are actually checkpoints in the game. Oh, there's no map. Don't be ridiculous. There are checkpoints in the game, however. And those checkpoints are every zone. Damn it. Right. I can't shoot that guy. He's on the ground. I'm not even sure what my max health is at this point. Pretty sure it's above 30. I wouldn't mind not having a map if the level design was good, which it isn't. And for demonstration on that, see the same corridor of the same platforms with the same enemy placement like 5 or 6 times in a row. Samus is as ruthless as it comes. All she cares about is money. All she wants is the paycheck. She's willing to kill anyone. No, you cannot shoot down. You cannot shoot at a diagonal or crouch or anything like that. All you can do is shoot up and sideways. We are, of course, playing the Animal Crossing version of the game. You can tell because this is Zero Mission. I mean, it doesn't even look like Zero Mission, doesn't it? So yeah, that slowdown was added for the NES version. I don't know why. I don't even think it was on purpose, to be quite blunt. But it wasn't there in the original. In the Famicom. What is this door? Where are we? Hey look, it's another corridor. But it's okay, it's a slightly different color. So even though it's the same basic problem and same basic level, it's a slightly different color, so that's helpful. That's how we track where we are, right? This is how we know. At some point, I'm going to have to go acknowledge the massive donations I just got. Dang it. Stop giving me money. Ah! No! Now I'm dying! Why did you get me killed? If slowdown is a literal hardware limitation, then no, it's not going to get a negative. No! Stop giving me money! Quit it! Quit it! Oh, Jesus. That did a lot of damage. But there is something extremely important. A missile upgrade. So if nothing else, we have now accomplished progression. We have access to 5 missiles. So even if we die here, which we're about to, there we go. The best first game of the Nintendo properties. Well, that's something we're going to gauge, aren't we? Because we got Metroid 1, which we're about to review, and we're reviewing Zelda 1 in a couple weeks. So that should be fun. Pause. Let's go ahead and... Stop giving me money. Stop giving me money. All right. Star Fox. Yeah, actually, I was thinking earlier, but yeah, Star Fox probably qualifies. So first of all, thank you, History Maker. Always appreciate. I will jot that down. If I can type. Oh my god. Kirby 1. Kirby 1's not that great of a game. A lot of people forget how bad the first Kirby game is. So that's the Alan Wake block, Steam World block, the BRPG block. Then Sub-Zero gave me way too much money. Thank you, Sub-Zero. Very, 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 very much. I guess I could leave the music playing. No reason not to. Thank you very, very much, Sub-Zero. I've put that for EU4, Stellaris, in the BRPG blog. And thank you, Venters. Especially right now, it does, Sub-Zero. That's going towards Eiyuden Chronicles, Don't Buy It on the Switch, Triangle Strategy, and Unicorn Overlord. Thank you very, very much, Venters. Always appreciate. Thank you. Okay, so in this game, you technically have 3 weapons, and there's a huge asterisk to that. Well, I guess 4, excuse me. So there's your shot, which is the 4th. But then there's the 3. Missiles, wave beam, ice beam. Now, the wave beam is only really useful against one boss and for hitting enemies that are below you. The ice beam is mandatory to progress through the game. Now, the ice beam, the reason I bring that one up, and the reason I highlight that a little bit, is because in this game, you can't actually switch between weapons. The way this works is, let's assume the ice beam's up here, and let's assume that the wave beam's over here. Let's say you get the wave beam. Congrats! Oh, but you need the ice beam. Well, I hope you remember where the ice beam was, because you're going to have to go all the way back and do whatever puzzle led to it to then get the ice beam again to override the wave beam. They are mutually exclusive, and there's no swapping on the fly. You have to go back and get the power-up again. Yeah, no, that's terrible. If you don't have the ice beam, you cannot progress through the game, period. It is considered... Well, okay. There are glitchy ways to progress through this game without the ice beam. But low percent runs, and any percent runs, almost always get ice beam. And yeah, there are 2 ice beam locations because of that. But, Jesus Christ. Sands of Time Trilogy. No. The reason why is because getting a hold of those games is extraordinarily expensive. And I do not own them. I am sorry. But the Sands of Time trilogy is something that I've looked into streaming several times, and I've always had to say no to. Okay, so we've got Raspberry Jam, we've got Penalty for Failure, we've got Samey Corridors, so that's visual distinction. Visual continuity. The original Prince of Persia, is actually already on the list. No, Ect. You still have the ability to go back and get the ice beam as long as you remember where it was. You remember where it was, right? You've been taking notes. You got a map. Yes. It's like, hey, Adam, which version? The one that I will be playing, which is definitely that one version. I don't know. The color coding is a positive. It's more like the color coding is probably going to reduce the number of negatives I give the level design. Because, let's be clear, it's extremely easy to get turned around and lost in this game. The samey corridors in all directions on top of the color helps, but not as much as it probably should. Donkey Kong Country, I don't know. I'd have to look it up, Dr. Winter. I do not know. I would still say Star Fox is a better game than Donkey Kong Country, however. Because Donkey Kong Country is not a good game. And I know that's going to raise some hackles, and I don't care because it's true. Sorry. I'm debating. There was something else I wanted to write down. Oh yeah, I need to look that up too. I will think about it, Bladeable. The odds of that happening are really freaking low. I'm just going to be nice and honest about that. Okay, here we go. So this is actually Brinstar is where we are. So there's Brinstar, Turian, Kraid's hideout, Ridley's hideout, and Norfair. Those are the zones. That's what I was wondering. Okay. Oh, I got that written down. Let's keep playing this game, don't I? All right, so of all the Metroids, this is the only one that might actually get the cheat flag. Probably for save stating, which is funny in a game in which... Right, I actually forgot about that. Oh my god. Okay, so... In case you missed what just happened there, unlike some other games I could mention, including several Metroids, the game doesn't have smart item drops. What that means is it doesn't drop something that you need, it drops something that you can have. Like missiles, even when you already have max missiles. Some of you have already noticed that the enemy patterns tend to vary a little bit. It's a good time as any to mention that there's a lot of RNG that was deliberately added to the NES version of this game that was not present in the Famicom version. All of the enemy movements and AI and patterns and all that stuff was all deterministic in the original Famicom version. But in the NES version, they came up with this thing called a randomization table, which was used for a whole lot of things in gaming and is to this very day. What it boils down to is there's a table that's usually cycling based on frames. Sometimes it advances based on input. There's all kinds of tricks. But either way, the table usually has X amount of entries. 255 is a very common number, or 256. And each iteration of whatever advances at an entry advances at one thing. Then there's a separate protocol built into every script in the game that adds the randomization. And what it does is it looks at that table and says, hey, okay, this is what it's going to be for this thing. So, like, if it's, entry number 5 through entry number 15, then it says, okay, drop a missile. If it's entry number 8 through entry number 30, then it drops an energy, and so forth and so on. This is used for determining damage variance. This is determined for critting, for item drops, for jump height, for what direction the enemy moves, for what direction the enemy attacks. All kinds of stuff like that across a wide variety of games. What's my thoughts on what specifically, Art? I know this is all very basic stuff for some of you who are well-versed in programming. Yes, a hitbox is where you can be hit. A hurtbox is where you can hurt. I know that sounds strange, but I mean that with sincerity. But first, I apologize. I didn't actually say thank you properly. Thank you again, Ocean. So you wanted to put that towards the original Prince of Persia. You get 2 other picks. You can put it towards 2 other things if you want to. If you do not, I will put it towards dealer's choice. And thank you again, Willison. And I will add that to the previous sub. No rush, Ocean Gaming. Just let me know. That's going towards Stellaris, Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, and Republic Commando. All right. So, if you're asking me what I think about randomization, yeah, so what Noctis said is what some people say. I had never heard it said that way until about 2 years ago. And so I'd consistently use it the exact opposite of what you just heard in chat. Because that's what I always heard from everybody who I always heard talk about these designs. The hitbox is where you can be hit, and the hurtbox is where you can hurt. Which of those is standard, I have no idea, and can only guesstimate at this point. I've never heard of either of those games, I'm afraid, Ocean Gaming. Although if you want to add a new game to the list, you can only add the one game, I'm afraid. Oh my god. Okay, let's stop trying to fight these things. Just merge those two things there. And there's our missiles to open this door. Which gets us L. And we want to tell me what L is? If you guessed length of shot, you win. I don't know what it stands for. Could someone do me a favor while I'm trying not to die and see if there's any Tomb Raider games on the list, please? I'm pretty sure the old games were forbidden, but they recently released that that compilation thing, so that might remove them. But yeah, the L is worth it, to be quite frank. I have actually played this game several times and not gotten the L beam, long beam, I don't know. And regretted every second of that. Because holy crap. We need to get at least 5 more missiles for the next door we run into. I mean, long beam makes sense. L, right? Yep, I am a total L. Oh yeah, this leads to Turian. I know this. And, okay, we didn't get hit. Cool. Just gonna show this off briefly. Very briefly. Super. Oh my god. Oh my god. So brief. It's just gonna be so brief. Just wait till you see. This is gonna be amazing. Alright, so first thing we run into is a freaking missile door. Of course. Now, believe it or not, I'm actually doing this on purpose. This is one of the only strategies I remember from this freaking game. So, we need a couple of... Well, no, we need one. We need one missile. So let's get one missile, shall we? Oh, that's just mean. Let's just despawn that. Oh, jeez. You know what? That actually works out okay. Come on. Come on. Later games would specifically add the smart drops to avoid the problem that I'm having right now. Okay, so the beeping has gone away. That's nice. Could you give me a missile? One missile, please? One. That's all I'm asking for. Please? Please? I'll be your best friend. You know, before I murder you. For your missile. Oh my god. Who's feeling that itemization negative for drop rates? This is ridiculous. And for the fact that it's not smart drop rates, so you can get something you don't want. I'm starting to question that, Bladefall, because I don't know is the answer. You like that spawn rate, by the way? It's one of my favorite spawn rates. It's, is there an enemy on screen? If no, then spawn. Oh my god, I need one missile. Please? Oh my god, oh my god. Excuse me, yes. Obviously, an enemy's drop counts as its enemy. Because it takes up the same entry in memory. I don't know how this is done nowadays, but back in the day, the way it was done was, oh my god! Oh, come on! The way it was done was that enemies would, rather than, like, dropping something, more or less literally, what they actually do is they just turn into the item. And that's why they're technically still there. Good news, it keeps our missiles. So and we still have the long beam. And yeah, there's actually a ROM hack of this, which is pretty good. It's the 7th worst game we've ever reviewed, Hourglass. Mostly there's some Nintendo heart here because of inconsistencies with controls and other related issues. I mentioned sorry, I never got to finish talking, and I'm falling behind on saying thank yous. But thank you, Hourglass, for the sub very, very much. 3 things, you get the idea. The reason I brought up hitboxes is because the hitboxes and hurtboxes, whichever is which, are completely randomized in this game. Okay, I shouldn't exaggerate, but they're very Donkey Kong Country, if you're familiar with that series, and it's awful, awful hitboxes. Good luck guessing when an enemy is going to hit you, or isn't going to hit you. By the way, that's kind of important in a game where it's really easy to get hit. You don't have a lot of ways of refilling your health. In fact, there are no recharge stations for missiles or energy in the entire game. That was something that was invented for Metroid 2 on the Game Boy. So you kind of don't want to get hit, and you are pretty severely penalized for doing so. You're probably wondering, so, okay, why are you going all the way back up, Lore? You clearly have to go to the right. And yeah, even just basic deduction can tell you there's only 2 ways to go right now, really. Right or down. So we've kind of... Now they're just dropping frickin' missiles. I hate you, King. What you may or may not have noticed, there's right, is that I'm an idiot. But I mentioned this earlier. Red doors stay open. Here, you know, before I commit to that 100%, let's verify. Do red doors stay open? It has been a while since I played this, and I'm going a lot off of research that I've been looking up in order to prep myself for this run. So let's verify. Yes, red doors stay open. I thought so. That's good to know. Well, now you gotta die. Give me that paper. So, red doors stay open. That's actually pretty important, because it means you only have to open a red door once ever. As long as you're on the same save. So I've been thinking about the save slot limitation thing, and oh god, we're having corruption. Don't worry, it's normal. Really, it's normal. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. As with many other things, like, say, Pokemon Gen 1, I'm not actually going to give a negative for limited saving. And the reason why is because this is an NES game, which just didn't have it, right? Did not have the technical capacity to actually have a proper save system. I do not give negatives for something that is a hardware limitation of the times. That would be unfair on multiple levels, and this is definitely one of those cases. Don't mistake me. I'd love to give more negatives to this game, because screw this game. But I don't think it's warranted in this case. You're probably wondering, by the way, how do you shoot missiles? So, how do you do anything in this game? I, of course, have played this game, but tell me, how do you think you shoot missiles? For those of you who know how to play this game, don't answer. Start does this. What's really funny is because there are a grand total, if you stretch the definition of 8 buttons on the entire controller, eventually you will figure out how to do it. But it is specifically you hit select, which changes modes, and then you shoot missiles. So this is the way to Turian, the final dungeon. There are multiple ways to progress through here, either with the ice beam or through glitches without having to do this. But what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to kill both Ridley and Kraid, guess which one's which, and once you do so, the way will open. This is what Super Metroid then would reference many years later. Now, you notice that lava down there, or acid, or whatever the hell it's supposed to be? Here's another little interesting factoid for you. That acid is always there. in order to save on memory, something you've probably heard me say a lot in this game, they just programmed the acid to be there on every single screen. All of them. They just use terrain to hide it in places where you're not supposed to be dealing with acid. Or lava, or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, it's functionally a kill zone. Ugh, did I mention that when you're jumping out of acid, it's also random? Your jump height? I mean, obviously your jump height's random in general, but your jump height when jumping out of something is also random. And we're at 5 missiles again. Obviously, these screens don't count. The vertical screens are their own thing. These are some technical wizardry. I kind of wish I was more versed in the hardware of the NES so I could really exposit on exactly how crazy the vertical screens are. But anyways. Yeah, of course we burst on death. It's not like there's a woman inside that robot. I should mention there's not a lot of music in this game. If you get tired of it, just say something. We can just mute it. Not yet, though. We gotta hear Kraid's theme first. So another thing that's kind of crazy, you've actually seen me do it a few times. You notice how I kind of stacked up the enemies? It's because it sort of remembers their position and location and what they're doing. Prior to them going off the screen. It just saves it right there. So that when you then re-enter the screen, it remembers where they are. So if you're clever, you can just get all the enemies to stack on top of each other and make them easier to dodge or kill. We do not have the ability to crouch and shoot or shoot down. This is probably the most difficult Metroid game, but for all the wrong reasons. Enemies hit hard, you restart the game with 30 health, and you cannot shoot several enemies with certain weapons. In all honesty, I think with a single change, this game would drift a lot closer to being actually difficult. And that's the 30 health thing. The 30 health thing, by itself, is kind of awful. So now we're in the yellow zone. Cool. Palette shift, palette shift. Let's go ahead and be cautious here. I already got the missile in here, and I don't remember there being another thing. So let's go up. Or down? What do you think? Up or down? Up or down? What do y'all think? No Tomb Raiders on the list. Got it. I'm seeing a lot of downs. Let's see what's in here. I actually have a pretty decent mental map thing. Good night, Act. But considering how distracted I am, and, you know, trying to review and trying to respond to you all, I have a feeling I'm going to get extremely lost many times. I hope you enjoy that. Oh yeah, someone mentioned how this looks more like an organic area. Yeah, so the manual talks extensively about the space pirate gang and how they're evil, and oh my god, and how we're here to stop them. But these are just a bunch of critters in caves, so, huh? In fact, point in case, there's only, at least in this version of the game, there are only 3 members of the space pirates in this entire game. Ridley, Kraid, and Mother Brain. And Mother Brain isn't actually a member of the Space Pirates. That's its own thing. Same thing as it always was back in the day of Wolfenstein. Damage and health. This is definitely where we want to be. This seems like a safe thing to do. Oh, yeah, this is where I want to be. Oh, yeah. That's true. If you buy the Nintendo Power, you can get a map for this game. Can you believe it? Hey, Kay. Yeah, this music's going back to that atmospheric thing we mentioned earlier. I'm about 99% certain I'm going the wrong way. But I'm actually curious now exactly how far we can push this nonsense. Keep in mind, the enemies do 10 damage right now. We don't have any energy ups at the moment. And we're dead. But we got a missile up. Critical. But there's one other thing I kind of want to show off. I already talked about this, but every time you do a zone transition, that becomes your no respawn point. Problem is, it always respawns you at 30. So, you know how in some RPGs, you know, bad RPGs, you go out and you farm enemies to get gold, to go to the inn to recover from farming enemies, and the goal is that you get more gold than you spend on the inn. But in bad RPGs, you spend more gold on the inn than you get from the enemies. Well, that's the problem here. You are more likely to take more damage, unless you're much better at the game than I am, in your farming attempts. And they don't drop that much health, and they certainly take quite a bit. And we're dead. So, cool. And, of course, the spawn point for Brinstar is the beginning of the game. Now, believe it or not, that's kind of a good thing, because now we can go farm health. Isn't that great? Being able to farm health? I've never been so happy to have to fight level 1 goblins. Actually, the game is considerably harder on the NES version in several respects. Obviously, the absence of an honest-to-God save feature is part of that, but... Oh, right, sorry, Hourglass. What I meant is Samus, there's a rumor, vicious rumor, besmirching his name. I believe there are some enemies that drop more health. Do not quote me on that. I am not that familiar with this game. Oh, this is definitely going to be below 0. There's no way, Ocean Gaming. There's no way this will be a net positive game. Almost assuredly DZ Maven. I did a little looking into that a few years ago. Apparently the rental market just wasn't the same in Japan. Might explain why that's a thing more here in the States than elsewise. Okay, so obviously going down was the wrong choice. I'm not naming names for who I would blame for that thing. I'm not saying that it's anybody's fault. Mr. Red! Try going up this time. In like 5 minutes when we actually get up there. Look, I'm not doing early crate, okay? I know it's lucrative because it gives you 75 missiles. And to be clear about that, that's 75 missile max, not just missiles in general. So, you know, woo. I forget how many you're supposed to walk into Mother Brain with, but it's several hundred. Yeah, but we all know that I am anything other than cool, Alex. And I know you just want to watch me die over and over. Considering I'm down to 20 health just from getting here. Some E-tanks would really be nice right about now, but, you know. That's right, we have the long beam. The greatest power known to space pirate kind. So you're probably wondering about the lore of this game. Believe it or not, before Zero Mission, and I gotta phrase it that way, there was actually a story axis here. It was entirely out of the game, and so the game gets no credit for it, but while we're here. So, Samus was up in orbit, beating the ever-living snot out of the pirates. And I mean just curb-stomping them, crushing them like a bug. And all the pirates were dying, and the only survivors were the Mother Brain, Ridley, and Kraid. They're the only ones who lived through that whole horrific exposure and experience. However, because of the fact that her ship apparently sucks, or something, I'm not sure why, but her ship crashed, and Samus lost all her power-ups and gear. So she had to, you know, run around to get it all. I should mention that you can jump on the air in this game. Like, this. Oh, hang on. Okay, I did it once, and now I can't repeat it. Whatever, whatever. God damn it. Ah! Oh my god! I just got rope-a-doped there. Oh, okay. Back to this. I'd say we're making progress, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. I'd keep track of my deaths, but, you know, I don't think numbers go that high. Reminder, do not do the drinking game for deaths. I don't want everyone to die from water poisoning. I really wish they'd drop health instead of missiles. Please? 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 I have run out of things to talk about, by the way. There's really no depth to this game. For how ridiculously short it is, we'll probably be here until tomorrow. So, I do hope you enjoy more and more of me dying and then having to farm energy, and then dying and then having to farm energy, and then dying and then having to farm energy. Don't worry, it actually gets worse when you get more health. And as the enemies start doing more damage. I didn't even see it, Alex. I'm sorry. What was the question? Well, you see, I have no idea, Alex. There's not a lot of world-building lore to this franchise, to be quite blunt. Ow! What the hell was that nonsense? Ah! Same guy, too. Okay, now your whole species is gonna die. And let's, trust me, I'm good at genociding things. I'm Samus Aran. Who just got hit by something. I probably shouldn't have hit her. I mean him, obviously. I mean, her ship looks different in several of the games. I'm pretty sure her ship has been destroyed a few times. Listen, women aren't naked, okay? That's something that's just taught, right? They come out of the womb fully clothed and dressed, and all their eyes covered. All their skin's completely covered. It's just how they are birthed into this world. You can actually kill these. It only takes 100 shots. Listen, I don't know how many eyes them women have, okay? They're different, alright? They've got those women parts. Who knows how many eyes they have. Oh my god, do I need the bomb to progress? I think I need the bomb to progress. Well, I got something to do, at least. Yeah, die. No, wait. Okay, okay. Yeah, whatever. Well, listen, Hourglass. I'm trying to give the enemies a fair shot. You know, I don't want to, you know, cause the enemies to feel like I'm just bullying them. Alright, hold on. We might already be at the map point. Let me think about this for a second. Because, to my knowledge, there's only one way we can go. Let me retract my head really quick. That leads to nothing. That's to Turian. That leads down to Kraid's Lair. If we go down, we go to Kraid's Lair. Which I am 100% not ready for. But maybe is the only way I know to progress. If we go right there, we get the missiles we've already gotten. If we go right there, we just went there. So, I guess the game wants us to go to Kraid's Lair? That feels really wrong, but okay. Hang on. What's through here? I don't remember what's through here. You don't have too much health. I mean, I know the game wants me to die, but like before that, you know, like, can we compromise a little bit here? I'm not asking for much. Okay, I think I actually haven't been this way. So this is one other way we could go that doesn't involve going to Kraid's Lair. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. Run! No! No! And, oh, wow. I actually thought that was death. Yeah, almost was death. And that's gonna be death. Yeah, that was... Wow, okay. Wow! Guess where we are? You know, the best part is we now have 30 health. I am shocked that they restart us at 30 health, by the way. I really am. Because they clearly knew how to remember our status. They remember the state of the world, you know, what items we've picked up and what doors we've unlocked. And they remember how many missiles we had when we died. So, why do they reset our health to 30? That's just kind of weird. Yeah, it's either a massive oversight or a deliberate choice. Why? I still think that other M's gonna score worse than this. I mean, come on. But, yeah. And look, I'm sorry that I'm crap at the game, Ross. I'm doing the best I can. I am legitimately not memeing here. I'm just sucking at everything. It restarts you at 0 health. Ah! Well, 47 for leaving the blue area, or rather the start area. 52, actually. That's not too bad. In the area that I was at, 3 Dark Day. We do have access to save states. So that's something that we can do. If we pull the cheat flag, it's going to be on save states. In Super, you don't restart. You go back to the last save you saved at. Super just has straight up saves. I'm not sure what 2 does. It's been a long time since I played 2. And I have no idea what Zero Mission or like any of the others, like Fusion, do. Yeah, 2 invented these 2 concepts called health refills, or recharge stations, sorry. Health and missile recharge stations. Although, there's an asterisk next to that, which we'll get there when we get there. No reason. I'm going to put a save here. No reason. We haven't loaded. Remember, loading a state is cheating, not saving a state. Okay, so we went... okay. Here. I think. Maybe. This looks like where I just was. I don't remember Hourglass. I am not very familiar with Metroid 2, so my knowledge on that game is even more limited than Other M. Ugh, okay. Okay. Doing good, doing good. We're not dead. Oh, I guarantee there were some arcade people involved in the development of this game. It was 86. Oh my god. Okay. Got some health. Got some health. Nintendo's worst period? No, that's the card game period. You kidding me? But jokes aside, yeah, it's probably the Wii, in my opinion. There's some good games on the Wii, but ugh. I'll take the GameCube and the Wii U over the Wii any day of the week. I don't care how financially successful it was. Oh god, the DS era. The DS era. Ooh. There were some mistakes in the DS era, but man. Okay, that was a genuine reaction. I'm sorry. That probably sounded like I was playing up to the crowd. But no. We found a goddamn E-Tank. Ugh. Izar. Now let's lose it in 5 seconds. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Okay, there we go. Oh, the GameCube has some phenomenal games. Oh, we were talking about the Rogue Squadron series recently, for example. Of one that's not very well known, but it's still a really solid couple of games. Oh, you notice how this is the same jumping platform I just went through? Hang on a second, mother. Okay, what? What? No, the Wii U is solid. It's not as solid as it used to be because a lot of its stuff has been ported to the Switch. But okay. It also expands what your max health can be, Lord Grandma. Okay, so we found our third corridor. Now, we don't have the ice beam yet. That's kind of a critical first thing, right? Like, if there's one thing I really want right now, it's the ice beam. So let's see how lucky we can get with that. Yeah, Paper Mario 2, the really, really good one. Mario Sunshine, the Rogue Squadrons, the best F-Zero game. Don't at me. No, Mario Galaxy was the Wii. It was actually Sunshine, which, you know my thoughts on that. Oh yeah, Melee, which admittedly I don't like, but is definitely a good game. If that's what you're into. Sticker Star was 3DS. I believe that's bombs. Oh yeah, Metroid Prime 1 and 2. Yep, there's our bombs. Nothing over here. So we now have the ability to attack on the ground. Kind of barely. Wasn't actually what I wanted, but it is mandatory for progression. Well, it's intended to be mandatory for progression. There's always that asterisk, right? What's really mandatory in a Metroid game? Yeah, the best version of Twilight Princess. I actually refused to play the Wii version for a really long time. And by really long time, I mean forever. I switched to the Wii U version. No, little Billy. Wii U for life. Yo. Okay, so we're actually doing pretty solidly so far. We're dying a lot, and we're pathetic and terrible, but, you know, hey, we need the ice beam to go up. Okay. Okay. We were just in there, and this is it for down. Okay, so that's awful. Because what that means is we need to bomb something somewhere. And I've been paying attention, and I haven't seen anything particularly bombable. So now we have to bomb just wherever and pray. Oh, you're right. We did have one bomb thing. You're right. We do have one bomb room. Okay, so let's go back to the bomb room. I actually forgot about that. Thank you. I am tired. I'm usually pretty good at this kind of thing. The Metroid thing, specifically. I call it the to-do list. You know, you just kind of keep a to-do list in your head of, alright, this is what I need. One thing that's going to be really nice is when we get the Varia suit. Because holy crap, I want to be taking less damage from these guys. The energy grind is going to get a lot less bad when we get that, because we'll be taking less damage. Oh, jeez. What, this room? I mean, there's the enemy down there to indicate that there's a thing down there. But this isn't the one I was thinking of. Oh, this looks... I'm gonna save state before I do this, because I think this is about to get me killed. Nope, okay, cool. Well, this is not what I was thinking, but now I think we're locked in and dead forever. Actually, I think this is the ice beam right here, so never mind. Thankfully, we have enough missiles to open the door. Yeah, that's ice beam. Okay. Favorite Metroidvania? I mean, probably Super. Having said that, I do think that Dread is going to be the big challenger there. Huh. Okay, so we're actually technically soft-locked here. No, that's not really cheating if we load state here. So, the problem is bomb jumping is different in the original. But we managed it. Oh my god. It's not the same as it is in every other Metroid game. It was very definitely an oversight on behalf of the developers. Okay. There was also another way to get out other than using that. There's a secret super option in this game. If you, Come on. Come on, you stupid. If you... Oh, God, what is it? Like, hold down and B or something like that on the second controller. It instantly kills you. Suicide. Okay, so now we have the ice beam. And an enemy that's stuck in the terrain. Very deliberate, as you can tell. Yeah, pretty much Blade to all. Come on. There we go. Okay. Come on. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. You know what? I'll take it. So yeah, if I see the wave beam, I'm probably going to go out of my way to not get it. It's just not even worth the hassle. And it's not required for anything. And it's only useful against one boss. Yeah, by the way, getting stuck in blocks actually takes damage in this game. And I believe this is the only Metroid that does that. Other Metroids just shove you out. Okay. Okay, hold on. Before we start making this climb. No, they do not, DZ Maven. You may see the little iframes thing, but you actually don't take any damage. Yeah, I think this might actually be an honest-to-God troll room. Get out of the way, please. Please? Oh my god. Is it sad that my first thought was, screw it, I'm just going to wall jump? If I realize that doesn't exist in this version. I'm going to indulge in looking at the map really quick. Because I gotta know. Is there anything in there? Nope. There is nothing in there. That really is a troll room. There's an honest-to-God troll room in Metroid 1. I didn't even know that. Okay. Okay. Back into it. Let's go to the other spot I was thinking of to bomb. Oh my god. That's true. It's unrealistic to think that every area has to have treasure in it. I demand realism in my Metroid games. Well, no, but then we would have had to start over again with 30 health, Blade of all. Speaking of, I noticed we're actually kind of down, and we probably need missiles soon. Yeah, technically farming just got slower, too. But it's a lot safer, so I'll take the trade-off. Ow. I think this is the room? I'll find out in a minute. This looks right. Yeah, the ice beam is what toggles the freeze. Now, when they're hit by it, they do take the damage from it, so that's something. But as you just saw, you can accidentally unfreeze an enemy you didn't want to. Here we go, this is what I wanted. This is the room I was thinking of. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. I'm not locked in here with him. He's locked in here with me. Oh, God. Run, 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 run. No! I needed that health. I need that health. Oh, my God. I'm, like, net zeroing on health here. Let's... I don't know, Yura. I was at the mall. My dad was off doing whatever. I had nothing else to do. Was that a read? What do I look like, a nerd? What's funny is, as I remember, I didn't actually beat it in one session. Of course I didn't. I'm not that good. I was actually worse as a kid than I am nowadays. So, I remember actually asking one of the adults if I could borrow a piece of paper, and he was, like, weirdly confused by the request, which always amused me for some strange reason. Like, it was really strange for a kid to be asking for a piece of paper. I wanted to write down my password, if it's not obvious. Look, this is the safest refill spot I've found so far. What do you want from me, Estamine? Oh, he did. And then when I punched it in wrong, or I wrote it down wrong. Take your pick. By the way, these energy ups are 5 energy up each. They... Oh my god. And, they hit for more than 5. I think it's the simplest way to phrase that. Every Metroid game has this problem. Well, most of the Metroid games has this problem to some extent or another. I think Other M was trying to solve it by having that thing where you just hold up and recover. I think this is a little bit better solved by smarter drop rates and smarter drop code. I actually have 2 grind playlists. Yeah, Super sped this up by a crazy amount. I would have been long since full by now. Super also pretty much guaranteed drops if you were low on anything. Like I said, the specific code of the drops helps. Interestingly enough, 2, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of sheer numbers, has more refill stations than Super does. But again, Super has the drop code. Almost there. Almost there. Still, this is 4 in a row with no drop. 5 in a row now with no drops. 6 in a row with no drops. 7 in a row. 8. 9. 10. 11? Okay, this is getting suspicious. 12. 13. 14. Am I full somehow? 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. Okay, I give up. I guess I am at max health or something. No! Crap. Okay, well, now we're here. I think I need to be on the top. Yeah, I do. I need to be on the top row. Enemies don't have Ninja Gaiden respawns, by the way, but they do respawn if they're a bit off screen. So, yay. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ugh! Okay, that's just a thing. The game's dying. I can feel the game crying as I progress. Okay. Okay. Come back to that, because I feel like there's something here. Oh my god, the slowdown. Oh my god! It's eating inputs too, which is not great. There we go, okay. This is why I farmed all that stuff earlier, by the way. Right here. So I could lose it immediately. Oh. Yeah, I need to upgrade my PC, guys. I can't play this game from 1986. Like, clearly this is the spot right here. The game engine itself can't handle the objects. Oh, yeah, but I can't bomb in mid-air. I'm saying that wrong. I can't roll in mid-air. Better way to phrase that. Whoop. Didn't mean to do that. Hey! Pure luck. I mean, skill. Skill. All skill. 100% earned. Who he takes? We're rolling now. We're invincible. Nothing can stop us. Ugh. That's right. We have gotten a second E-Tank in Metroid 1. Yeah, just think of all the health we're going to have to farm in the future. Isn't that great? So this may look familiar, because we've actually already been here. Unfortunately, we still don't have the Ice Beam. So let me go through my mental map really quick here. Actually, let me write down some thoughts, because... No, I don't have the Ice Beam. What are you talking about? Sorry. Okay. It's a good way to check. Game Master. Not everyone actually pays attention on my streams. See, a lot of people listen, but very, very people watch. So I had to make sure you're actually paying attention. I'm actually surprised how many of you caught me on that immediately, by the way. All right. I guess that means we go this way. There is one place we can go to right now that we haven't been, and we do have the Ice Beam, and 2 E-Tanks, and a bunch of missiles. I think this is the way back? This feels right. I could also die, but, oh man, that respawn would be awful, so let's not do that. Yeah, this is... I admit, the historian in me finds games like these fascinating. They suck, but I still find them fascinating. I'm still engaged by them, if that makes any kind of sense. This goes back to, you know, what we value, that whole discussion, what we value in game design. You know, I value good games, but something I also appreciate, something I can enjoy, is the historical aspect, the context. It's a good way to put that, Euro. God damn it. Because this game really is a Genesis game of so many different other games. A huge, huge amount of gaming history came out of Metroid 1. It's probably one of the reasons why this is the franchise that kept going, whereas Kid Icarus died on the vine. Nostalgia. No. Do I have nostalgia for any NES games? Because it's all audio for me. I've talked about that before. Do I feel bad calling this game crap? No, this game is crap. However, sometimes we need crap to show us what crap is, to iterate on and develop off of. As I've said before when it comes to the reviews and games in general, crap can be useful. Something needs to fertilize things. And that's what we call stretching a metaphor. Yeah, in all honesty, as weird as this may sound, part of what's so impressive about this game is that it's not worse. Even though there's a lot of things going on here. But Ross. It is impressive what they were able to accomplish. And I want to stress that I am not being facetious when I say that. This game should be so much worse than it is. They were absolutely bleeding edge of what the technology could do at the time and what gaming was doing just as a medium at the time. Remember, this is 86. This is actually pretty early in the NES's history. Or I guess the Famicom's history, but point remaining. This and Zelda 1. Yeah, exactly. Look at something like Balloon Fight or Ice Climbers. And then look at this. Yeah, did I already go this way? I don't remember. Oh, jeez. Hang on. Oh, no, there's no way. There's no way. I have gone this way. I have gone this way. I have gone this way. 1 second. Currently, I'm covering a game called Metroid, comma. You probably don't remember it, period. Came out in 1986, exclamation mark. Exactly, She-Holly. Yeah, no, this was mind-boggling back in the day. This is a very clear example of sand before water. And I will never shame someone for being like, oh, when it comes to Metroid. Okay, so I'm going to peek at the map very briefly, just to save on backtracking. Because I can't remember if it's left or right, and I just want to know very quickly if it's left or right. So we are... Where are we? We are... here, I believe. Yep. Okay, it is right. That's what I thought. Although that... Okay, well, whatever. I don't know if that's the right way to go, ironically. But we're going to commit to it. I'm trying to not look up the map as much as possible. The only reason I did that is because I didn't want to waste your guys' time. I was pretty sure it was right, and I was even committing to going right. But in case it wasn't, we've already going to have tons of backtracking. Let's go ahead and just verify, you know? We'll find out, won't we? Everyone keeps asking about Zelda 1. We'll get there. You realize Zelda 1 is not that far off, right? The Zelda franchise, the whole franchise, is not going to be a super long block. I'm pretty sure Persona 5 by itself will be longer than the entire Metroid series. Other M was probably the longest one. That's true, we do have I keep forgetting that we actually have Breath of the Wild first, and that's my fault. I apologize for that. Did you not for 5 seconds? Oh my god! Oh my god! Just bleeding out health here. Everybody, freeze. You know what? I'm willing to give a plus for the Ice Beam. In addition to the obvious technical achievements, the fact is, it's good kit. It's... Hold up. Red light. Yeah, the Ice Beam just works. And it makes platforms. And in a game like this, that's kind of a big deal. So, let's see how bad of an idea this is. We're going to be cautious, because I don't know this place at all. And that's why the Ice Beam is an awesome thing in one succinct picture. Really wish health would give more than 5. Especially given how much everything hurts. And the fact that they don't always drop health. And the fact they don't always drop anything. So yeah, we're well on our way to Ridley now. That's not true. We actually got a whole other zone before we get to Ridley. But I'm going to admit my personal memory knowledge of this game is going down the further into it we get. So, I hope you've enjoyed this, because I'm about to get a lot worse at it. If we're giving the Ice Beam here a second positive, then we have to give it second positive in several other games. Now, I'm okay with that, but that is the precedence we would be setting. I have 100% of this game once. There it is. Right there. Oh, come on! It's like 3 pixels off. One up there, too. Find this game scary? No, that was Ninja Gaiden. Make fun if you must. It's still true, though. Oh god, those guys. Okay, we're okay, we're okay. Just gonna... Good thing we have missiles. Is that the ice beam? Did we just get the ice beam again? Well, we found the other ice beam. Second positive. There's 2 ice beams. Don't mind me. These frickin' anti-fairies from Zelda right here. Okay. Well, I'll take the missiles. Oh god. Game Boy graphics. It's okay, we'll get him eventually. Oh wow, we did. I didn't think that would work. Ripley did inspire Samus and the Alien series in general. Pretty long, Game Master Me. Certainly longer than what we're doing. Although back then, we probably would have had the walkthrough. Or Nintendo Power, or, you know, whatever. They used to sell strategy guides. Can you believe that? I mean, this game is at least not spitting on years and years of cultural heritage by being absolute garbage very deliberately. Ross. I know you love this game. So please don't kill me. Oh god, Ross is coming out with a knife. Everyone, if I die, you know where to look. Oh, jeez. Okay, sure. Yeah, Other M is deliberately what it is. We talked about that, Mr. Red. Other M was not made on accident. Other M did not have production issues. It did not have technical limitations. It did not have budgetary limitations. It didn't have anything. It just had the game they wanted to make, which they successfully did. The game that came out was the game they wanted to make. Yeah, they just designed it badly. Uh, for a game like this, probably not, Alex. No. No, I would say no. Cheating, I know I tend to be... The topic of what qualifies as a cheat and isn't is a strangely controversial topic. But for me, looking up a walkthrough or grabbing a map or whatever is not cheating. And we have not counted that as cheating since I disagreed with that. Because some people are like, you're cheating because you used a walkthrough. And I was like, well, okay, I'll throw up the cheat flag then. Then I disagreed with that, and I stopped doing that. God. Anyways, we don't need backseating. Plus, everyone knows better, because if they did... So that's where we just were. Obviously, we don't want to go there. I think this is where we came from. Double check here. Yeah, this is where we came from. Okay. I'm sure there's so many things I'm missing here, too. Starfield Other M. A game that did nothing wrong except being designed by monkeys. Hey, look, this looks like exactly the same room as the room I just came through. No, seriously, do me a favor. Look at this room. Here, check this out, check this out. We're going to use save states briefly just to demonstrate this, okay? I need you to understand how many negatives this game is going to get for level design, because it's going to get several. Okay, you need to understand this. Give me a second. Do you see the difference in these two rooms? Can't you tell the difference between these two rooms? Isn't the difference between these two rooms so distinct from each other? It is, Alex. In order to get the game to fit on the cartridge, they used a lot of techniques in order to just reuse assets over and over and over. So I might be going the wrong way. This might be the room I came back through, or it might be a new way to go forward. There's really only one way to tell, and that's to go back through the exact same room. So, here we are. Doing that. We're up to 5 red doors now, so that's good. Okay, so this is where we came in. That's not actually what I wanted to do, but that's okay. Now we can go left. We haven't gone left yet, at least not successfully. We died earlier going left. Okay, so let's just ignore him. Imagine doing a no-hit challenge in this game. Could you imagine hating life that much? Listen, I have a lot of respect for Gamer Champ. She's a great streamer and all that, but, like, her challenges are bonkers. She pretty much has carved out a niche of, yeah, I'll do insane, crazy challenges because that way I'll hate my life. Okay, this is so much like the area I was just in that I'm actually starting to question if this is a new area or not. Even though I'm pretty sure it is, in fact, a new area. Starting to doubt myself. I'm getting gaslit by this game. Oh god, I remember that, Dr. Winter. Why do you speedrun Quest 64? I hate this game. Okay, grab that. Ugh. Yeah. Remember when I mentioned that the jump height out of the water is random? I'm actually joking about that. There's not really anything you can do about it. This might actually be a dead end. I think it is. Yeah, okay. That is a funny thought as to me. Okay, so we got a missile. Cool, cool. Missiles are cool and mandatory. So, it's not as exciting as getting anything else, but it is better than nothing, so cool. Alright, let's check down before we leave this area. Okay. Well, that's not what I wanted to have happen. Listen, there's a female protagonist in this game, Yura. I think that says all it needs to. It is bespoke. I like that. So a negative I've technically already given Super is a negative I am super giving this game. I don't mind having to go look for items. I absolutely hate having to absolutely run my face against every inch of every wall trying to find items. And there is no visual indicator of the difference between a wall that you could bomb through or shoot through or move through and one you can't. The only way you can tell is by actually rubbing up against it, or in this case shooting up against it, but same difference. That is a good question, Blade Chaval. So most of you probably don't know this, but a long time ago, my friend Third and I started a very brief, short-lived series called Then and Now, which I've always kind of wanted to get back to. The idea was, I've played all these games back in the day, so I have that perspective. He never played any of them, so he has that perspective. So both of us would go through and judge classic NES games or SNES games and give our differing perspectives on it. He hated Zelda 1. He absolutely despised it. He couldn't wait to stop playing it. The phrase he used to describe it most was, "Where am I going?" Or "What am I doing?" Or however he phrased it. I actually can't remember now, but point remaining. I highly recommend watching that series, by the way. It was a pretty good one. We only did like 5 games, I want to say. Something like that, but still. So... So now we go down. The only place we haven't been to at the moment that we can go that I know of. There's nothing here. I'm lost. By the way, this is the 3rd iteration of the same frickin' room. Paying attention. Also getting kinda low on health. Like really, really, really low on health. Like, we have 8 health right now. Please stop giving me missiles when I have 8 health. And we're dead. 30 health. Zelda 1 was revolutionary. Whether it's good or not is a slightly different question. Okay, we need to farm health, so... I mean, you do enjoy WoW Classic, Spartans, that makes sense. That sounds like an insult, but I don't mean it as one. It's just... See, I grew up with Mega Man 2. The game they went out of their way to make on their own time because they all thought that Mega Man 1 sucked. Could you imagine an entire development team at a studio just deciding to make a sequel to a game without executive approval? God damn it, I'm trying to get health back, not lose it. Well, we're up to 77. See you around, DZ Maven. I'm sorry for boring you to tears. I didn't choose the Metroid Life. Metroid Life chose me. If we get to one, Alex, I'm probably going to pause at it for a minute. Because, yeah. We're almost up to one health thing back. Well, they were like, hey, we made a sequel to Mega Man. They're like, oh, okay, sure, I guess we'll release it. I'm not even joking. That really is what happened. Oh my god. That guy. So which game was more... what was the word you used? Let's get rid of that. I think I'm... Yep, I am net lossing on health. Which is always great. I am now lower in health than when I entered in this room. More impactful on gaming. And the options were... I can't even find the question. Where was it? There it is. It was Blade Travel. Zelda 1, Mega Man 1, or Metroid 1? Ooh. Probably Zelda, for being honest. Even this very game we're playing right now was inspired. Well, inspired. Was helped along by Zelda. I would love to say Mega Man has more of an impact on the industry than it does, but the truth of the matter is it kind of doesn't. Okay, this is an awful health refill spot, so we're just going to move on from this. Because we are dying trying to refill our health. And that's all I'm going to say about that. We are, like, net negativing on health. Or don't. That's cool. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Hate this game. God, I hate this game. Okay, okay, okay. That's just... There's nothing I can do about that! There was nothing I could do about that! Okay, okay. Oh, Mario. 100%. Ocean Gaming. There's no question. Wait, no, those are turrets, not spawners. I'm telling you, this would be a much better game without the 30 health thing. It really would. I'm probably going to do more than triple negative for that concept. And I'm not joking. Well, Mario also kind of started gaming. Like, it's kind of difficult to actually list how many things were inspired by, developed by, and pushed forward by Mario 1, because it's such a huge list. And now we're at 7 health. No, see, Wizardry shares credit with 2 other games, Ultima and Might and Magic. All 3 of those games pretty much started the RPG concept. While there were concepts before that. Well, there were concepts before that. What really got that going was those 3 games. And a huge amount of gaming was impacted by those 3 games. But the thing is, it's pretty much those 3 games equally. Whereas Mario 1 stands as a titan of gaming. If you were to follow the breadcrumbs back through history, the amount of games that can pull their history back to Mario 1 is crazy to think about. Oh, tank, 100%, Euro. I mean, Demon or DPS is fine, but I'm just not a DPSer at heart. Or don't jump? You know my favorite thing about the low health thing? I don't really mind, but occasionally an input's eaten, or I make a mistake, or, you know, I'm randomly not jumping at the height I should be jumping because randomization. And then I take damage, and every bit of damage is so punishing in this game because of how hard it is to refill your health. Like, we've got all those E-tanks, that's great and all. But we have 2 health right now. Now we have 7. What's the holiday tomorrow, by the way? You can tell I keep track of that sort of thing. Oh, Labor Day. I will do labor on the Labor Daber. Oh, God. And we're dead. That reminds me, Ocean Gaming. I'm sorry. I must have missed it. Did you ever put your other 2 donations or something? I apologize. I've been distracted by, you know, this. Tomb Raider Trilogy. Hang on, I'm looking this up. What is this Tomb Raider Trilogy? Give me a minute. Did you... Thanks. Apparently I'm muted. I remember that too, Ocean Game. That's why I wanted to verify that. Because, you know, vague memories and all that. Yeah, this is what a Metroid game soundtrack can sound like. Congrats, Disco. Okay, I think it's enough thoughts for now. You know one thing I can say about this game? Definitively? God, I'm really stuttery today. Look at that. Why are you so stuttery? One thing I could say definitively, and I mean this. This game has better music direction than Other M. I know that's probably confusing because you're currently listening to, you know, Prime, but I stand by that. There we go. I wonder if it was being weird. Camera was being weird. Sorry. It was bugging me earlier and I never properly finished it out. Okay, so. No, the music's better in Other M, but the music direction's better in Metroid 1. I mean that. But enough of this music. Nobody wants to listen to this crap. Let's listen to some real music. By the way, there's an interesting bug in this game. It's really, really easy to show off, but I'll try to get to the point where I have more than 14 health before I do so. If I can manage that. I might not. Since nothing's dropping anything. Just for you. Whee! God damn it. Yeah, fun fact, the way the game is structured, the map isn't actually moving, if that makes any sense. Like, the terrain isn't moving, programming-wise. I forget the exact specifics, but if you ever notice how stuff will just pop in and out of the left and right side of the screen, it's because technically it is on the left and right side of the screen. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Well, since I got rid of the low health thing, I can at least showcase to you what I was talking about. So, this is me holding the button down. Okay? Now watch this. Do you see how the rate of fire is so much higher when I'm doing this? The reason I bring that up, there is a glitch in this game where if you shoot and then hit another button, any other input whatsoever, it immediately decides to shoot again, even though you have not actually hit the shot button. It is a bug, and it's generally not even relevant. I'm not going to ding it or anything. It's something I only know about because speedrunners have to be aware of that glitch, because it can screw you over. If you want to, for example, freeze someone, which takes a shot, and you accidentally shoot 2 shots at them, then you immediately unfreeze them. So you have to be very careful about things like that. Oh, you like how much health all these enemies have? I remind you, this is the second zone of the game of 5. Now, yes, I know. We can kill everything instantly with a missile, and I probably should be doing that more often. But god damn it. Yeah, I've been stuck in this room for a very long time. Trying to progress. As we all know, this game was programmed on duct tape. Points if you get it. God, I've only managed to make it here with 30 health. I have neutraled out on health. And now we've got the gauntlet. I can't even walk into the gauntlet without taking damage. Oh, god damn it. And we're dead. You know what this reminds me of most of all? Breath of the Wild. Hear me out for a second. Hear me out. Because I know that's a weird comparison. Breath of the Wild is actually a pretty decent game. I know, shocking. It's got some flaws, it's got some issues, and it's not for everyone, but overall it's a solid game. And I would honestly say the same about this very game I'm playing, with a few notable exceptions. Like, I don't think this game would score super badly, if not for one thing. And by one thing, I mean like 5 or 6 things that all combine with each other. And that's the problem. In Breath of the Wild, there's something I call the durability problem. Now, the durability problem in Breath of the Wild is actually really easy to explain. So, items have durability. There you go, boom. Explained, right? Well, no. Because it's the durability problem. Durability in and of itself is not actually a thing. That's necessarily wrong. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Durability is not necessarily a problem in its own right. There are plenty of games that use durability, and some games that even use durability well. Like Resident Evil 2R or Dying Light, to use 2 examples right off the top of my head. You like the same room we just keep going through over and over and over, by the way? Isn't this great? Isn't this awesome? Going through the same room over and over and over again. The durability problem is multiple conjoining mechanics, all of which combined with the durability itself. So the durability itself isn't really the problem. It's everything that makes the durability worse. And yeah, that is kind of Starfield syndrome, if you want to call it such a thing. In Breath of the Wild, you have a durability system, and then the durability is really low, and then there's no way to repair it, and then the drops you get in order to replace it are semi-random, and then a lot of those drops are not as good as the stuff you just got, and in many cases the items you can get are either unique or semi-unique, and therefore you're kind of mitigated to not wanting to use them, and you have limited inventory space, and it's extremely frustrating to actually expand your inventory space. All of these problems, all combined, are what make the durability problem that. And yeah, that is the same problem we had in Starfield. Remember, as I started that whole chain in Starfield with the stamina bar. Remember that? Remember that huge frickin' diatribe I had? So, it's not durability that's the problem. Several people had some pendulum effect when people were complaining about the durability problem in Breath of the Wild by saying, I don't see why durability is an issue. And that's because they were only looking at it as durability by itself, not every conjoining mechanic, which made durability worse. Every single one of them. So here we are. Metroid 1. Starting over at 30 health. Which sucks. Because farming health is a problem, enemies hit hard, and you get more and more health as you go on. All of these problems compound the basic issue. So what I'm doing right now is already effectively unacceptable because of the drop rate. They don't always drop something at all. Sometimes they drop the wrong thing. Sometimes certain enemies drop different types of things. And the damage they do doesn't always offset the health that they give you back. So that's like 3 separate problems all combined right there. Then there's the fact that they give you 5 health back. Yeah, exactly, Ross. They give you 5 health back. Even when enemies hit you from 10 to 30, and that's not a made-up number. I know that some enemies in this game, in an area we're not even that far from, already start doing 30 damage per hit. And those same enemies might drop a health up, and if they do, it'll give you 5 health back. And as you're seeing right now, the drop rate is not very high, and this is an enemy designed to be farmed for health. In fact, I just got hit twice, so I think I just lost a bit of progress there. So that's cool, too. So, drop rate, amount of the health that it gives you, amount of health that you have, and of course, starting with 30 health. All of these things make this suck. What's really funny is there's 2 changes, I think, that would be needed to really fix this. But either of them would probably work in a vacuum. So one of those 2 changes. Either fix the drop rate, 100% the drop rate, first and foremost, and make it so that these health ups give substantially more health. Like, I would say a bare minimum of 30 in order to accommodate this problem. And that's not an off-the-top-of-my-head thing. I've actually been putting some thought into that. The second big change I would do is I would make it so that when you respawn with, I know, this is going to sound strange, but hear me out, full health. Considering that you can actually keep track of things like that in this game, and we know that, I don't think that's much of a big ask. You do both, and I think this game would go from being aggravating to actually being kind of solid. Don't mistake me, there's still some pretty bad level design and others, so I don't want to whitewash it, but I think this would go from being, oh god, I hate this game so much, and I'm probably going to cheat on it, to, yeah, okay. You'll notice that they've stopped dropping items, by the way. I don't know if this is a bug, because we encountered this earlier, too, if you remember. We encountered this exact same problem earlier. And at a certain point, they just stopped dropping things, and I don't know why. Like, there's a freaking cap on how much health they drop ever. Look at this. They're not dropping anything, and I don't know why. That's gotta be a bug.
Dennis, you should go up and make your pizza.
What?
Just go up and make your pizza for dinner.
But I can't have dinner. Not until I have hugged you. And now you're trapped. No, how'd you get free? How did you get free?
I came here without underwear, but I'm not gonna show you my panties.
Please do not show me that. I don't want to see that.
Wait, why is there a lollipop on the desk?
Because I've been saving it for you. Here you go.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna have it for dessert.
That's a good idea. You need to save it somewhere where your baby sister won't see it.
Okay.
Now, are you ready to be attacked horribly? Ah!
Hug.
Oh, okay. Hug. Hug.
Short keeps backing you.
I'll be right back. Suddenly, TMNT. Okay. Thank you, Dean Badine. Always appreciate the sub. Where's the music? Oh. There you go. And you put that towards the thing that's still not working. Hang on. I do have to cut off soon, by the way. You are correct, Venters. Game Boy, Metroid 2 was for the Game Boy. We'll see what it does when we get there. Unfortunately, the answer right now is I have no idea. I'm not that familiar with Metroid 2. Go figure. Okay, so that's going forwards. Tactics, Ogre R. Jedi Fallen Order. 0, Talia said. I ran into the health pit. And so that's cool. Okay, so let's see, before we cut off for the day, let's see if we can trick it into giving us more health, because we want to have max health going into Norfair. Okay, they're dropping stuff again. That's a good sign. So yeah, I guess there's just a finite soft cap on how much they can drop? For some reason? I don't even begin to understand that. I don't know, Dean Badine. I haven't digged too much into the code of this one. Only a little bit. I'm mostly on the bug speedrunning side of things. We're over halfway. We're halfway health. Isn't that great? We're at half health now. You know, I just realized, even under an ideal circumstance with no E-tanks, it would take us 20 of these drops in order to refill our health. So that's a chance not to get anything at all, and a chance to get the wrong thing. And then you have to get those 3 dice rolls correct 20 times to refill 1 E-tank. So an absolute bare minimum of 60 kills to refill our health. Minimum. Like, that's ideal RNG. And that's at our current health. We only have 2 E-tanks right now. Yeah, I wasn't going to bring out statistics. I was just trying to emphasize 60 kills at an absolutely perfect, ideal situation. Yeah, I was about to say, like, this is not exactly the only game to have a refill enemies respawning kind of a concept. In fact, several Metroids do this exact thing, but, like, god dang, you know? Can I share another bit of a personal story? A bit of an embarrassing one, but, you know, I'm sure you'll indulge me. The third, I want to say, time I played this, I rented it, which is pretty common back in the day for you youngsters out there. And I returned the game in frustration and anger because of a concept you've probably heard of, even if you've never actually encountered it yourself. It's called early game hell. Looks like moving to the right fixed it, whoever suggested that earlier. Okay, we are now at full health and full missiles. Because this game opens up a lot more once you get to the point where, you know, you start to actually progress, you know? You start to have enough health to just kind of live with it until you get to your next E-tank, which can usually carry you to your next E-tank, and so forth and so on, right? You get to a certain point and you start to snowball a little bit. But in the early game, hope you like going back to the beginning of that blue room over and over and over and over again. And this is not a brag, but I'm good at platformers. Imagine if you're not. Imagine if you were just trying out this game and you want to see if you like this kind of thing. See if you like the series, or maybe if you like 2D platformers in general, or Metroidvanias in specific. Imagine what that early game hell would feel like for them. Oh yeah, and I'm ignoring the fact that they probably don't have a map, just like I am currently playing without. Tomorrow, we're 2.5 hours in. Tomorrow at, I don't think we're getting the bikini ending, at roughly 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. More of this.